All right. We are here with Alex Chou. Oh my goodness. I am so absolutely excited to have you here, Alex, and have you share your story. You have so many cool things to share. Anybody out there that's tuning in, you're going to want to get a notepad and a pen and write down the nuggets that I know she's about to drop. Welcome to the show, Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Jen, for having me. I'm so excited to be here right now.
I am too. Hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where do you live? What are your hobbies? What do you do?
Sure. So I'm based in New York City. I love like meditation, Pilates. I'm trying to like get into playing bridge because like I read that that's like one of like the top card games that like billionaires play. So I'm trying to learn a little bit more about that. And then I actually am currently in real estate. So I work with my family office in managing our portfolio and then also really kind of like allocating liquidity and like looking for properties to invest in. But it's all only New York City based. So nothing that is like considered remote.
Gotcha. Well, what made you decide to pursue multifamily investing on the remote side?
Yeah, because New York City was basically a hellscape during COVID.
Right?
I wasn't able to collect rent, and then the court systems were closed. And then, if by the time they opened up and you had non-paying tenants and they were to go into the court system, I was told that it would probably take like a year to a year and a half to potentially get tenant out. And then, as like a landlord, that just doesn't work, like because
Right?
you have no cash flow coming in from your tenants that choose to kind of like really play the system that is in favor of uh, tenants rather than landlords. So my goal was to really kind of like grow my portfolio, my personal portfolio outside of New York, so that like I wanted to learn more about other cities, and two, so I wouldn't be beholden to just one city and just have risk all accumulated in one city. And just, I think New York City, as much as I love living here, I think being a landlord is just so tough here. So.
Yeah. There's a, I think it's very interesting that, COVID disrupted a lot of businesses and made people shift a little bit. And I love what you've identified is that there's risk when you're just going deep in one market. You wanted to diversify markets a little bit. And I love that. I also love the fact that you wanted to build something that was for you apart from family office.
Yeah.
So where did you learn how to do it and how long have you been doing it now?
In truth, like the remote investing all came from your course. I actually knew nothing about how to start a team to basically evaluate properties outside of New York. I had a set of people in New York that I relied on, and I had no idea how to build it outside. From like a numerical standpoint, also the way that I evaluate remote properties, like it was so different from evaluating on-site properties because like I partake in the active property management. So kind of like having to include fees that I never really thought of when I was remote investing. That was completely taught from your courses, which I started off in like the 3 month 2 to 4. And then I went to the 1 year apartment course, and then that's where I learned, I think, the most integral parts of remote investing.
That's awesome. I actually didn't realize that. So that makes me feel a little bit happy. How many
Yeah.
buildings, how many buildings have you been able to invest in that period of time? It sounds like it's been a little bit over what, 15 months and
So like I started apartments program in your program, probably like end of April last year. So like it's definitely like what, like a year and a half now. So,
yeah.
so in that time frame, well, when you say buildings, do you count like RV parks that have no
I,
buildings and just
I
have
absolutely, how many,
parking.
I love that. No, let's go ahead and delineate. How many assets have you been able to invest in?
Okay.
Yes, I include RV parks.
Okay, so I have like 196 units altogether. 116 of them are RV parks, and then the rest of them, about 77, are the multifamily units. Although it's debatable whether my mom thinks that RV parks are not real, real property. So,
Hey, I saw that post and I was laughing. Can you please just share that story really quick? I think the audience will love that story. It's hilarious about your mom.
So my mom has always been a little bit of like I wouldn't say she was pessimistic, but like cynical about like remote investing because she's like, why go outside of New York? And then and she had no concept of like other asset types besides like mixed use and multifamily and like industrial, right? And then when I was talking to her about like, oh, I invested into an RV park, she was like, what's that? She was like, how many buildings are on it? And I was like, none. You have like sewer systems, pipes, and like electric amps. And she's like, and I just like watched her face process this. She's like, is this like a homeless encampment? Is this where people go to sleep on the ground? And I'm like, no, like people drive in with like fancy vans and big, like RVs, which my mom doesn't really know what an RV is. And I was like, just big cars. And then my mom's like, why are people spending money on these big cars when they have no place to live? And I was like, no, like they have a place to live. It's just, just
It is so
different.
funny. It is so funny, especially somebody from New York who in a
Mhm.
big city, you can't think about land and being spread out and that most RVs are actually just as expensive as a house. And these folks are actually, it's their
Yeah.
recreational activities. That is such a funny story. I love that story. So how did you end up explaining it to her? Does she get it now? Or did you just kind of like, ah, never mind,
Uh,
mom?
at some point, she just looked at me and she was like, it's your money to lose. And then I was like, all right, okay, all right, thank you.
I think you handled that perfectly because, most of our listeners probably want to get into something like this, but they
Yeah.
do. Their inner circle is like, "Mm." And if you're not confident and certain in your strategy, sometimes that can get in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I think that you had the 77 multifamily doors and then you had
Yes.
the RV park. The RV park, was that your first time raising capital?
Yes, it was my first time being a general partner and also my very first time being a capital raiser, which was terrifying to be quite honest. So, yeah, but
Talk
it
about
was
it.
exciting as well. So, I mean, it's very interesting because prior to the RV park, really I joined deals as mostly like a capital partner. So either I was an LP or a JV, and I put in money to an operator that found the deal. And then of course I did due diligence and I analyzed the deal, but it was a process of people asking me to join their deals to contribute capital. And then when the RV deal came up, initially the loan sponsor and the main operator asked if I wanted to basically EMD or earnest money down, deposit the deal. And I said yes, after I reviewed everything. And then as I got more comfortable with the deal, they asked me if I wanted to capital raise and get like a larger position in the GP. And then I actually almost said no at first because I was quite terrified of the idea of asking people for money because in my head, I had an imagery of me just going to people with my hand out and being like, give me money, right? So
Right. Right.
I was just but I actually felt like I had to really evaluate is it a problem with deal or just a problem with my mindset? And it was a problem with my mindset, not the deal, because I already put EMD, I already did due diligence, and then I was also taking putting money as an LP position as well because I felt that confident about the deal. So if I felt that confident about the deal, why would I not be willing to raise money for a deal, ask people and explain to people the same things that, I saw in the deal that makes it successful. So it was definitely a mindset for like the first like week after they asked me, that I was just like contemplating like how does this look to other people that I'm asking them for money. So
I love that. So you had this chat with yourself, and ultimately you saw the logic. Like, okay, if I'm willing to put my own money into this, I should be able to sell it, right?
mhm.
When you made that decision, how did you determine your approach to go ask for the money? And is that how you actually thought of it in your head? Like, I'm asking for money, or was it something different?
So I also had to shift from I'm asking for money to I'm offering an investment opportunity, right?
Yes.
Because when you go ask for money, you're somewhat beholden to the concept that someone has to give you a handout, as opposed to you're offering an investment opportunity where basically is no different than someone that's already investing into their 401k. They're putting money into stocks because they think that there's a benefit. I'm offering a benefit. So it was a shift in that mindset as well, that I then approached people to say, hey, there's this really great investment opportunity that I'm involved in. It gives, and I gave like a general idea of like the business plan, like a 3 bullet point idea of like the business plan, and then just initial like what the initial target returns are. And
Mm-hmm.
then I said, if you want to talk to me, why don't we go through the underwriting, set up a call, and then I can give you a more detailed discussion about the strategic plan and everything that the underwriting has.
Love
And
that.
then, yeah. And like to be quite honest, I asked 7 people like in total. So 2 of them were very close friends of mine. Three of them came from your mastermind.
Okay.
And then one one came from a separate mastermind as well. And then like one that basically has just seen me post things on social media about my like really my learning process of deals. It wasn't even about the deal, but like about my learning process of certain deals. So like, and after I spoke to all 7 of them, all 7 agreed to sign up and basically invest into the deal. And I think primarily it's because of again, like it's the opportunity that I presented and based at the explanation of the business, and really kind of like a full disclosure of the potential, rewards and risks that are involved. And I think people found it, I guess, uh, clear what they're getting into, and then they got involved.
I love it. What was the raise that you did? How much was it?
450,000. So like there was another co-raiser. So it was like I think a total of like 2.1 million. So then like the loan sponsor also co-raised. So like he gave me a smaller portion, and that was what I was only willing to take on as my first raise, because I wasn't fully confident as well. So like 450,000 was my first raise.
Yeah, that's incredible. Let me ask you this. Did you ever go back and do the numbers on if you would have said no, what the deal would have looked like in terms of returns for you versus saying yes, and how that helped you? Have you ever looked at both scenarios to see how being courageous and stepping into that actually served you and the 7 people?
Yeah, so I did take a look, because like when I agreed to join like the GP, I basically gained another 4.5% from participating in the capital raise. And that 4.5% also like helped me get about a $20,000 acquisition fee related to the total, piece of the acquisition fee. And I actually, didn't plan on getting that, but the idea that just willing to step in and to participate, allow for more opportunities of like income and revenue to come in. And then basically my cash flows going forward are also larger because I now have a larger position in GP.
Doesn't that feel great?
It does, yeah.
I bet now when you go raise capital, you will have in mind, oh, the acquisition fee isn't up. I get more cash flow and equity. Like there are so many reasons to go for it. And that's awesome, Alex. That's awesome. I'm excited for you. So
thank you, Jen.
how did you identify the 7 people that you were going to reach out to?
Yeah. Well, I basically identify people that I remember expressing interest in participating in different asset types, so RV parks and such. Because during my and Stacy has taught us to like post about our journey and post about like our failures as well as like our successes. And then I initially, basically, when I posted like one of the failures, it was me trying to acquire mobile home park, but like that because the park wasn't great, it was really like a crap storm, you know. So like, I didn't acquire it, but like I posted about it, and then like people responded with like, oh, you know, I want to be in another asset investment, you know, with you if you find something. And then so those people expressed interest, or either through like the post, or they've reached out to me because I know them already. Like, and they reached out to me via text or via messenger, and then like we discussed like basically participating in deals of like that asset type subsequently. So I would say that like in truth, like because I'm slightly of like a functional introvert, I don't like to talk about myself much, except like when people remind me that that I should talk about myself. So so in truth, like I think if I wasn't like reminded to kind of do these like success and failure journey updates, I wouldn't have had people that would come into my mind that would be interested in this deal. So
I love that. So you knew and you did the work along the way of posting and ultimately marketing yourself as an investor at that caliber. It attracts who you want, and then you paid attention. That just goes to show, you know, I always say the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. So you stayed ready. And when the opportunity presented itself to go do this co-GP for a capital raise, you almost said no, but you ended up saying yes. And it was a huge come up. So the message to the audience based on you is, man, if you just do the work and you're building that pipeline, eventually when opportunity meets hard work and preparation, that's what most people call luck. So Alex, kudos to you, man. That's awesome. Now, what does a day in the life of Alex look like with this RV park and 77 multifamily with other partners? How do you manage all of that, plus still have time for acquisitions and continuing to scale your portfolio?
yeah, so I would say like from a GP perspective, like I am on a standing weekly call with basically my operator and also like the other GPs. And then every call we discuss about business operations, how the occupancy levels, and then basically like every post month end, I would ask them to bring the accountants on to bring basically people that would be accountable for the financials on. And then I would actively just try to also like build out like a KPI to monitor like where, you know, all the revenues and like and trends of like what's happening. With a lot of my existing JV and for the LPs, I don't really get much involved, except I just get an update whenever the update kind of occurs. But like for my JVs, it's kind of like informal now because everything has been stabilized. So it's more of, I would say, like every month or so, I get on a call with my operators and just kind of like see like where we're at. and one of my operators adopted one of my basically financial spreadsheets, the P&L spreadsheet that I use to monitor, and then she just runs with it. She's made it better, better than I did. So like, I mean, she's doing great. And then so from that perspective, like my calls with my already stabilized projects is a little less frequent, but still on a monthly basis, I still talk with them.
I
And
love
then
that.
and then like on like kind of like a daily basis, because from like normal working hours, I deal with like my family, offices, properties, portfolios, like, and there's just a lot of like tenant management issues that come up with like, them moving out, damages, leaky pipes, non-working water heaters, things that always cost money.
Ye-
So that's
Yeah.
that's but to kind of make sure that I also kind of stay on track with like building out my own personal portfolio. So I really have like a hard cutoff at like 6 o'clock. Like I don't do anything more for my family. And then like everything else outside of 6 o'clock is all personal growth. And then like when I mean personal growth, it also includes like mental, like and physical. So like everything from 6 o'clock on is either I'm, going to like my Pilates studio, or I'm also in like a weekly meditation classes, or where I like it just teaches me to like better calm myself and to better be in practice and connected to really the source, the universe. And then everything, when I'm not doing that, then it's just looking for deals, analyzing deals, talking to people that potentially have deals, and if they already have something going on, asking and see if they're looking for like partners, and seeing if there's other projects around. I've had like a couple of people that brought me other deals, capital raising deals. So like there's one in Virginia Beach, there's one in like Florida, and a lot of it is just also evaluating whether or not those deals, that underwriting even makes sense, or there's enough due diligence on their end. So yeah, so everything from 6 on is just like personal stuff, and I make sure that I don't address anything from my family. Although that's kind of hard when they have your text, your cell phone.
Right. But I think it's great that you put those boundaries in place so that you can build something for yourself. That's phenomenal. A lot of people probably admire that too, and want to figure out how do you do that when it comes to planning the week or the month. What systems do you use to make sure that you're strategically planning that out for yourself?
Yeah. So it's so interesting because then so I'm on an accountability call with other WOW students, and then I have to say that like from a systems perspective, I realize I put everything onto Excel. People have software and other things that they use, but I am technologically insufficient, and I know that that's like an area that I have trouble with, but I'm
Yeah.
great at spreadsheets, right? So like it's been working where I just put like all my deals and the things that I need to analyze on just spreadsheets, people I need to contact, and I just kind of like check it off. And then like I make pivot tables of just, things that like, I filter out. So for me, the spreadsheets work.
Yeah.
I think for other people, I know that they have like other more kind of like project management softwares, a lot of different types of softwares to kind of go with it. I can hardly get Zoom to work for me most times. So I'm just it just I don't think I have the mental capacity to learn other software. So
That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes I'm a Gen Xer and I feel you. Sometimes software is not the way. You work with what works for you. And I love that. Spreadsheets. Got it. I use a journal, and
yeah.
I'm right there with you. And whatever's working for you seems to be working. The whole point is I feel like you're very intentional and you have
Mhm.
a plan and you have a vision for what you want to create separate from your family. And that's very admirable. How is
Yeah.
that? How has that process like changed your life, building this thing for yourself?
I think like it's given me like a lot of like confidence in like the area of being able to build something from the ground up, without relying on anyone and really kind of also being able to know that there's people out there that are like me. Because what I realize is that, like, you know, if I'm talking with my friends or if I'm talking with people that I just normally hang out with, like, real estate isn't like a concentration, isn't like a point of like, oh, this is like the news that I'm hearing, these are the ideas I'm getting. And that, like, I think like just the confidence and the connection that I'm getting from, being in in a group like yours and like being connected, I mean, it's so invaluable. Like, I can't even place like how life-changing it is for me.
Like inside, you feel like a different person the past 18 months?
Yeah, completely. Because like where I had doubts about myself and whether or not I can do it, even though I wanted to, I had definite doubts on, and I also had people that were talking about, well, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, why are you doing it, right? And then so like because of that, I even though I believe that like if you set forth and you just work at it, like you can achieve it. I had major mental doubts, but like also through your program, like I was able to really kind of like establish mental fortitude. I guess that would be a really good word for it. Like mental fortitude and confidence that I can do it.
Man, I love that. I feel like that's an episode for another time because we could dive into that one.
Mhm.
Ultimately, I think a lot of people have that doubt when they're first starting something. And kudos to you for going for it and working through it.
Thank
I
you.
based on that, if there's anybody out there that's on the sidelines with that doubt and listening to that inner monologue, like what would you say are 3 to 5 actions that they need to take in order to break through that and get one step closer to what they actually want?
So so there's a really famous like Chinese philosopher, and he said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, right? And then like that, whether or not you have, so for me, I would say your very, very first thing to do is to just look for direction and like take that step. Maybe like ultimately you don't have a clear vision of where this is going, but you have an intention of like, where you want to be. Take that step. The path of like of clarity comes after the steps, for a lot of people.
Yes.
So I would say step one is look look for a direction and take that first step. And then step two is learn. If you don't know how to get there, find programs, find people, find books, and just learn as much as you can to try and get you clearer on your vision and
Mm.
know how to partner with people that can help you reach where you want. And then like I would say like the final step is that after you learn that, where your vision and where and how you're going to go achieve it is to network, learn to also network. Because I think um I had because I'm a functional introvert, I had a lot of a lot of like hesitancy towards like networking. So then like, you know, I think like I could have made it a lot even further if I was more open to like just talking with people and just telling people about where I am in the progress and like what I'm looking for. And then like hearing other people's stories about where they are and what they're looking for. So, because that's how you build relationships and partnerships and just find your tribe, I think.
Yeah, for sure. That's really great advice. I love that when you take a step, it provides clarity. It's so true. That's a nugget right there, you guys. If you're listening, write that down and then make sure you go do it. Alex, what is next for you?
So I have been talking with a couple of my contacts, and then it's very early, but we do want to make a capital company for foreign investors. It's early in the works, so that's kind of like my 1 year goal of achieving that. But in the immediate sense, I have an RV park closing, I think, within like the next 2 weeks. So like, so
Right on.
yeah.
Right on. So RV park coming up. Looks like you're going to start your own capital company. If anybody has, like, are you looking for people that have deals and need a capital raiser or a JV partner? Like, which one do you want? Who do you want to contact you and how do they do it?
So because it's early in the process, I mean, I want to talk with people that just want to partake in a partnership with me, right? And then I want to see what that looks like and what they want out of it, and then see if any matches happen. So I'm open to anything at this point. Just talk with me.
Awesome.
So,
How do they
yeah.
find you? How do they find you?
They can find me on email, or they can contact you because you have all my contact information. So
I love it. I love it. Okay. We'll get your email into the show notes when we put that out there. And I know that you're always in our Facebook group too. You do a lot of commenting on Facebook and a lot of posts on Facebook. So you could find Alex in the Apartment Investing with Jen and Stacy Facebook group also. And we'll get her email down in the show notes. If you're looking for somebody who is very, very good at asset management and raising capital, now you have your partner. So go ahead and reach out to Alex. Alex, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by and dropping all these nuggets. And I look forward to seeing you real soon in person at the next WildCon event.
Oh, thank you. I look forward to. So thank you so much, Jen.
Absolutely. Keep crushing it.
Thank you.